This goes Stu going off and taking the win, but I was trying to keep Zeus and the rest behind me. I did not want them coming through. As soon as I saw that mistake, I just was like, right, main goal is keep them behind. If I can get Stu, that's a bonus, but I was all over him as well.
All we saw that is what I says to the guys during the race was this is his comeback from the mistake that he made at Catalonia last week.
Yeah. This is he does. He does. I do one on him, and then he does one on me. So
And
I think,
give it 2 minutes, and Morgan's gonna write in the chat invites ?
Yeah, man. Fucking hell, yeah.
Right, I've sent you the link to that, mate.
Right, guys,
it's
because tonight
perfect.
I didn't sound. I felt like I was
Perfect.
lagging
no,
a bit.
No, shut up.
No,
That's
you
perfect.
wasn't.
Guys.
No, you wasn't
Oh,
lagging.
it's
Like,
perfect.
everything was coming
It's
out
perfect.
right.
Yeah,
Well, we all right.
Don't think about it. It's fine. Shut up. Let's just race.
Are you sure?
Yes.
mate, you sounded normal to me. I didn't know if I sounded normal.
Yeah, you sounded absolutely fine.
You never sound normal.
Everyone's gonna be questioning each other.
Thank you, Ian.
Well, given my internet, if anybody should be concerned, it's me.
Your voice lagged a bit, Ian.
I
Your
don't mean
voice
my
lagged a bit.
internet. I mean actually my words. Me talking.
No, your words sounded fine. Clear.
That's what I'm on about.
It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, Nick isn't gonna be able to make it, so the grid
Nope.
order.
It's one up on each other.
Yeah, I've
Just
changed
update
it
on
on.
Discord.
I've changed it on Discord, but the
Yeah,
graphic still says it, so whatever.
It's not that deep on the stream.
Right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
As long as none of the drivers pay attention to it, that's all right.
Yeah. I'll read it out in game chat.
So
anyways.
Nick de Villa's not
I
there.
mean, drivers shouldn't be watching the stream
yeah,
anyway,
thank
so it shouldn't
you.
matter.
Oh, he's not come up on it. You're
No,
alright,
he's
isn't
no
it?
race tonight.
No, he's dropped out for tonight.
Yeah, do you know as you said it's on the thing on the Discord?
Yeah.
It's not there. His name's not there, so it's all fine.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Because he changed it.
But I made a graphic.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
Are you really though?
No, not really.
Oh, I put underscore on DJ.
So basically, Matt, G's made a graphic, a pre-race graphic with the F1
Like they do in
style
F1.
starting grid.
Yeah.
It's an animation,
Yeah.
and that's what's going to pop up on the screen.
Brilliant.
But Nick DeVille is still in there. I can't remember
But
now.
it's not really going to be much of a big deal.
Yeah, it's not. Everyone just moves up a position.
By the way,
It would be.
what was I going to say? Oh, based off of last Thursday, I know you may have won the teams thing, but we won the drivers because Sutty finished top. So
Yeah.
it's a moral victory for us.
Yeah, but it's a physical for us.
But we're
Something
taking,
well.
but we're
Second,
taking it.
Imagine if McLaren had got one of their drivers to win the Drivers' Championship the
actually-
year they got disqualified from the championship.
Oh.
That would have been a nice moral victory.
I want to make a comment about that because Gary, my God, on the last half of that race,
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, we were.
I was last and he was still holding me up. I was like, what? Are you serious?
It's not that. It's what he put into the general chat saying that since we already won the first race, that we were, he thought it was just going to be a fuck about afterwards. For the second race.
I read that. I had a word with him after that, and I says, "Well, hang on a minute. That was our chance to come back at him." And he says, "Well, was we ever actually going to do it?" And I'm like, "Well, not that fucking attitude, are we?"
No.
I mean, so
That really
Were
did
we
piss me
actually
off.
going to do it? They had such. You guys had such good drivers.
don't.
like-
We had Dean Wasaki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't even get
but-
me started on him. Do not even start me on him. He came up next to me at one point and fucking bashed me twice.
Yeah,
What
he's
the fuck?
You
In a straight line?
you still had Gary, Little Leach, Sutty.
Yeah.
You still had
Brace,
like good
yeah.
drivers.
Oh no, we had good
Brace.
drivers from the Thursday night stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't realise Brazier was that quick. I
Oh,
didn't realise.
Jesus
Andy can tell you.
Christ.
Andy can tell you all about Big Boy Brazier. He's gone on our
Has
Really
his
pro am.
quick.
connections.
He's on our
Internet
pro am
marvel.
category. He's that quick. He's as quick as the guys on a Thursday night. But because he had work, he couldn't do Thursdays.
Oh. But his
Um,
disconnections hold him up.
yeah, so he's not winning the championship because he's like his mum told him to get off the PlayStation for 2 races.
Wait, how old is he?
He's 18.
Really? Oh
Mate,
shit! I thought he was
he's-
like
he's-
30 or 40.
No, he's 18 and his mum told him to get off the PlayStation. And then he's like lagged out to like 4 or 6 races or something like that. So that's why he's not winning the title.
Oh shit! All right.
You said that he's going to
I just
automatically. give up
suggested
the
he
player
should be
anyway.
a reserve. He should be a reserve for tier 1. for Pro Series.
Mm.
It
Full
made more
grid now.
sense.
Full grid now. G's in them.
Yeah.
Full
What,
grid.
G's in them?
When is the break over?
Wait, hang on a minute.
Yeah, we're back this Thursday.
Yeah.
You're in
Yes.
Pro?
Yeah, G's in Pro.
Fuck.
He's in Pro Am actually. Sorry, he's in Pro Am, Dan. Sorry.
What one a man?
You're in Pro,
No.
mate.
You're getting relegated to Pro Am, mate.
Wait, am I racing? Am I racing on Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday night, mate. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Oh,
It's because I'm starting. It's because that every race before the one that we had at Donny, I didn't have the geared LSD on, so I kept on spinning a lot more.
Right. I'm just going to quickly run to the toilet. It'll be 2
Andy,
seconds.
is your wheel connected?
It is.
Make sure.
Oh wait, I might have to restart my game anyway.
Well, if you started it on controller, then yes, but if you started on wheel, you're fine.
Oh, I started it on the wheel and then plugged in the
You're fine.
controller.
No, you're fine then.
No, that's fine.
Oh, I'm
I'm gonna jump into a part with Fury for this race.
Alright.
Right.
I'm gonna start at 10 past. Just wait for everyone to join.
Who's
We've
Mike
got
is that?
12 drivers right now. I think it's Matt.
Yeah. Right, anyway, guys, I'll talk to you after the race. No races.
Ciao.
Alright, have a good one.
Right, good luck, Andy.
Oh, Luty
You
McShooty's
too,
it. So we've got 13, 14, we're just waiting for Charlie. And then we've got full grid. I mean, not full grid.
sounds like a
What is
helicopter.
going on? Who is...
It's Matt.
Oh, it's in the
He's
background.
charging his controller. That's he's gone. I'm gonna take a piss quickly. I'll be back.
Holy shit, man, this is annoying.
Well, I'm jumping in game chat.
Alright. All my own.
Luty McShooty. And that's a name. I'm back.
It's just me and you now.
Ah, sweet. Old man, fuck off. Love you too. Race is meant to be 20 minutes, but need to allow for formation lap. Pretty sure we did that last week. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I gotta say, I'm not gonna sound cocky or nothing, but I made a beauty of a move.
On tonight. Oh,
Yeah,
inside into who is?
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
Andy,
swap
leave,
like that.
leave the pump.
Yeah. See you later, lads. You up, Beth? Alright, best luck, Jake. Let's go.
Right, I best. I gotta make sure my settings are set right. Wait, you guys did hear me. You did hear the stream at the start, didn't it?
As far as I'm aware,
Because I didn't change nothing.
I'll just double check. Where is it? There.
Races tonight. We've got Matthew Duffy. Your thoughts on the race today? We saw you doing a bit of practice yesterday. Took the win last week. What are your expectations going into this one?
Main expectation.
Yeah, can I hear?
Okay. Cool. Right. Ah. Right. I'm race director, am I?
Yes.
Right.
I do
This is
believe
my
so.
second attempt at this. I will try my best to keep an
No,
eye on
you're
on
fine.
I didn't do too bad. I just nearly messed up at the end.
Alright.
Yeah. G was coming up to finish the race, and I was too busy watching.
Do you know sometimes?
Battle.
Do you know how many times I've done that where I've just been the race been that good, and then you just miss that end bit?
Yeah. Right, can I do it on controller? Yes, I can.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Tier 1s here at Motive Racing in the Clio Cup. Hockenheim short for the 4th round of the season. I'm joined in the commentary box by our Tier 2 runner-up just a moment ago, Dan.
Evening, Matt. Evening, guys. Little bit knackered now after that very difficult race. I had to put full concentration into that, but here we are, Tier 1 now, the fast boys, as I'd like to think of them.
Yeah, the absolute best of the best here. One absentee from tonight, no Gary 131. We hope he's recovering well in hospital after a knee operation today that has gone well. I am led to believe it. I have been told. So, wish you the best of luck, Gary. And we wish you back as soon as possible. But we've got some quick drivers on the grid, nonetheless. Who's your standout man tonight, Dan?
Well, looking down the grid, we've obviously got the main contenders. Obviously, we got the likes of the only G, who'll be up there. Yeah. We got Motive Morgan. These two, I believe, are fighting for the championship, if I'm correct.
I do believe so. I'm just going to double check the standings now.
But I'm pretty sure those guys will be up there.
Yeah, Motive Morgan and G for the championship at the moment.
Yeah, we got Andy as well racing tonight. So it'd be nice to see how Andy gets on. I know he's been quick in these cars, and I was doing a bit of practice session with both Andy and G. So it should be interesting to see where Andy can put himself. But we obviously got Ian as well, who's quick.
Ooh.
And he just takes a little spin there. BT Tiger as well, I know, is quite a quick driver as well, especially in the GT3s. So we got a big bunch of guys in here. We've got Little Leech as well, who we race in Simple A. He's one of your guys, if I believe.
Big shout out to Little Leech. Hope he does well tonight. And he's up there currently P3 in the championship, so watch out for him as well. No slouch.
No, I know he's no slouch. I've seen him following me around so many times, so he's definitely one guy to keep an eye out on here. He can definitely throw a surprise, and he's very consistent as well.
He really is. And now he's not got Gary to tell him what to do. He'll be even better, I reckon. Luty McShooty, new to the championship, new to the season, I do believe, as well. Didn't see him last week, so making his debut in the Clios this week. So evening to Luty McShooty. Charlie Goff is making his first appearance this week as well. We've just lost a driver, not quite sure who that is. No TJ Hompey as well, I do not believe. I can't see him on the leaderboard, so no TJ Hompey. We've got Little Leech currently sat on pole as Melted Dazzler, now Motoring Morgan takes pole position from Melted Dazzler, Little Leech and Emo Guy. Then Fury P9 as well. Watch for Fury in race 2. He's normally a man who has a good second race, better second race than he does first race, so watch for him. Decent lad. Oh, rejoin there. Turns out he rejoined safe, but it looked a bit dodgy.
Yeah, some of the back markers really need to keep an eye on when they're rejoining onto the circuit, because we did have a couple of incidents in the Tier 2 where a couple of back markers were just not really aware of what's going on. As we see Fury's now coming to finish his lap, and see where this puts him as he comes across the line now to set a time of 1:13.1, which puts him 5th. I believe Fury can go quicker than that, so keep an eye on his time. But at the minute, Motive Morgan sitting at the top as the rest of the season has been panning out for him.
And indeed it is. Now let's not forget, it is only a practice session, and the grid order will form up as follows. I'll remind you of it again at the start of the race. Charlie Goff will be on pole with Smoky Devil P2. DJ Phil Green will line up in 3rd. Fury will be in P4. Melted Dazzler 5th with BT Trager in 6th place. Shoulders will start 7th with Ian in 8th. John Boy will line up P9. Little Leech P10. The Only G P11. Motoring Morgan P12. And due to the newcomers to the league, Andy and Luty McShooty will start P13 and 14 respectively. They do like here at Motive we do for race 1, the sprint race, we do a mandatory sort of parade lap in which we'll line up in the grid, and then there'll be a rolling start from there. So that is the grid order. This is just a 10-minute practice session, as we see here the graphic on screen now.
Yeah, we've just seen Shoulders go quickest at the minute. Motive Morgan just losing out there. And look at these fancy new graphics that we got here, looking really nice. Wonder where they got that from.
Yeah, that's very reminiscent to something I've seen on the television before, except not with Clios.
No, it's maybe something with a lot more downforce, I reckon.
A lot more higher paid drivers. There's a Hamilton. I know G's got Hamilton on the rear window of his car, so there is a Hamilton that normally lines up on that, but not P12.
No, currently sitting in the pits at the minute, so wonder if G is just biding his time, not showing his true pace, and Andy goes top now. I told you Andy would be quick in these Clios. So, and I don't know, is the sprint race going to be in the wets? I believe the sprint race is in the wets. So.
I believe the sprint race is similar to what your race was in Tier 2 just a moment ago, if I'm right. The feature race is the one to watch, though. We saw a lot of incidents last week, a few disconnections with the PSN network going down last Tuesday night. We actually lost Motoring Morgan, one of the championship favourites for that, and I'm sure the admins and the stewards sorted that one out accordingly. But hopefully the PSN network doesn't go down tonight, and me and Dan's got a lot of great action to bring you across the two races, the short 20-minute sprint race and the longer feature race. We're here all night, so get your comments in the chat, get your predictions in as well. Leave a thumbs up on the video for the 28 that's watching. Get that thumbs up on the video. We want to see the video get as many likes as possible. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget, head over to the Discord server at Motive Racing if you would like to fancy joining any of the leagues that they do across the week, or head to www.motiveracing.com and check out their new website, which got launched before the season started. They run a Clio on a Tuesday, they run GT3 and LMP2 on a Saturday, they run Assetto Corsa and touring cars on a Sunday night, GTEs on a Monday, and commentary and streams across all the platforms in which myself, Dan started commentating as well. We have Ian, who is on us in Tier 2, and Andy on Tier 2 as well, commentate. So we're all bases covered here at Motive Racing, so please do give us a big thumbs up for tonight and get your comments in on who you think could win the first race, potentially the feature race as well, as we have got someone's rejoined the server.
Yeah, we seem to be having quite a few drivers dropping in and out of the server. I believe John Boy was the guy who dropped out, and he's now coming out.
Oh, and John Boy's one. John Boy's a quick guy. John Boy's quick. Pushed G to the limits last Tuesday.
Well, let's see if his connection can hold on, and he's popping out now. So, but yeah, we'll see how he gets on. See if he can really take the fight up to G and Motive Morgan, and the same with Andy as well, and PT Targa I reckon is another guy who could be up there. He's quite quick as well.
Yeah.
But it should be an interesting race, and these guys got to be very careful in the sprint race. If it's as wet as it was for me, watch out for them puddles, because they will catch you out.
A lot of puddles formed in tricky areas as well, not places you can avoid them. Tricky areas, some of the puddles formed in your race, Dan, and it led for a bit of exciting drama between the backmarkers and the leaders.
Yeah, very much so. So there was, as we watching BT Targa come down now, just in the middle of this straight, just as you come to the fast left, there was a massive puddle going across the entire road into that little dip, as you can see there. There was a massive puddle there, and into the braking zone. So there was puddles in the worst places you could.
Yeah. You see Andy and Morgan in the pit lane, as is the only G. DJ Phil, Smokey Devil and John Boy not set a lap time so far. We're on board with BT Targa here, currently P3, 6/10 off of the quickest time in practice so far. We're speaking with Little Leach earlier, and he says my best time's only a 1:10.3, so I'm a bit off the pace. He was kind of running similar pace to yourself and Dewey's Rocker in Tier 2. He says I'm a little off the pace at this circuit, so hopefully I can get a good tow. Currently 6P6. Shoulders Melted Daz are probably the surprise for me. P4 and 5 at the minute, but these two seem to be getting quicker each week that goes by, without a doubt. For Luty on debut, he's P7 at the moment, as Shoulders has just popped a time and good enough for second place, so good time that from Shoulders.
Yeah, good enough to start fighting with the top guys again. We're still waiting to see what G's doing, but I don't think G's going to come out and do anything. He's just keeping his cards close to his chest. But yeah, definitely Shoulders is definitely up there fighting with these guys. Melted Diesel as well is definitely giving these guys a run for their money, and a 1:10 is a good lap time. Like you said, it's best that what me and the other guys could do in Tier 2. The problem with Hockenheim is very much it's a short lap. It's a very quick lap. So you make one slight mistake in any sector, and the whole lap is ruined. So
yeah,
we're just finishing the session now.
And it's like we were saying in Tier 2, Dan, that there's two sides to this track. You've got a very quick first and middle sector, good few straights, few tricky corners in there, but a good couple of straights, and then that last sector, that stadium section, is where the time is won and lost.
Yeah, it's very much won or lost in each sector. You really got to be committed in the first half and be brave. But the last half, you really got to be patient with the car. You really got to take your time, allow the car to get turned in, and then just take your time. Don't force the car. As we see Smoky Devil come around to the final corner, goes a bit wide, gets the rear out, and he comes up to cross the line and to finish his lap and to end the session.
Yeah, that's John Boy in the background. See what he can do. Currently down in P8, and did improve then as we come to the end of the practice session. Improved up to P5, so a good improvement for John Boy. G not setting a lap time like Dan said a moment ago, holding his cards close to his chest. The one surprise I think is Little Leach being down in P7 in that, but the race with the rain is going to be an interesting one. 20-minute race here, so the first lap will be a bit of an out lap, and then we'll get away then with a rolling start led by Charlie Goff.
I think they need to make sure they get this formation lap sorted and organised as quickly as possible, because the longer they take, the wetter the track will get. So if they mess around too much, then it's just going to make things much harder for them towards the end of the race.
Indeed it is.
Who's your money on for this then, Matt?
With the weather, it's hard to look past Gio Morgan. But you know what, I'm going to give Andy a shout for this one. I think the rain's going to throw up a few things, and with all them guys starting at the back of the grid, I know Andy starts at the back of the grid as well, but I'm going to give Andy a shout for this one. I think he's my one to watch. Yourself?
I'm going to put my money on Morgan. I think Morgan will do it. I've seen G and Andy in the practice sessions, and I haven't seen Morgan, so it should be interesting to see how he handles these wet conditions, and I know he's quick as well. I'm just hoping and praying that his connection stays. That's all I'm hoping for.
I kind of wanted to go a bit different than just the Gio Morgan combination we seem to have at the moment. Seems to be a two-horse race in the league. I know Little Leach sits third, but he's slowly dropping off the back.
It's a bit like F1, isn't it? You don't want to pick someone different than Lewis or Valtteri or Verstappen. But if we're going to play that game, then I'm going to say that BT Targa might be up there as well.
Good shout.
Maybe keep an eye on him. But I'm just going to have a look through the comments. Greg Leach saying, big up, need motivation. Give me motivation, guys. I believe that's Little Leach.
Yeah, Little Leach, Craig Leach. I think that's replying to the Kieran and Monkey Boy from the Simplay Motorsport. Come over to cheer Craig Leach on. Okay, and we're just syncing up now, so as the guys will leave the grid, they will try and get into their formations. Okay, so once again, I'll just run down the grid order. Sorry, Dan. It's Charlie Goff who will start on pole. Smoky Devil in P2 just behind him. DJ Phil Green will start third with Fury fourth. Melted Dazza in P5. BT Target in P6. Shoulders will start 7th with Ian aka Emo Guy in 8th place. John Boy will start 9th with Little Leach P10. The Only GP11. Motoring Morgan in P12. And Andy 13th. And Looty McShooty will start 14th. Gotta love that name. Now this is the tricky part. Name. This is the part where we hope everybody has remembered their grid order and gets into position. The problem that we have now is that Charlie and Smoky Devil are in their positions as such, but there's someone who's not really getting into formation. So DJ I know when Phil is 2 places back on where he should be. Yeah, I think he's meant to be what, P3? Yeah, P3. Yeah, Fury and Melted Dazza are right, but they just need. Excuse me, DJ Phil just in front of him. Evening to Fury's mum in the chat. We always see Fury's mum and Fury's granddad whenever Fury's racing. There goes DJ Phil up into P3 now. The message now. Yeah. So Melted Dazza, we actually Shoulders, Emo Guy, John Boy, Little Leach G. We're all ready to go. We are all ready to go. We had an interesting session the other day. Fury's mum came and had a go on Project Cars. A little go in a private session. So
she's getting the love for it, and we're possibly thinking of we're still thinking about it, having a ladies' night. So
it's funny
maybe
you say that. We're on about having a ladies' night as well over at Simplay.
It should be interesting. Might be good content. So we're in the discussions of sorting it out now. But as these guys are now getting themselves in formation, Charlie Goff will get to choose when he wants to go until he gets to the start line. So he can go at any point from the last corner. So we'll see how he gets on here.
Yeah, when does he choose to go? Comes around the last corner. And looks like he's gone now. Yeah, he's gone now. He's gone as he comes out the last corner. Him and Smokey Devil have really dropped DJ Phil. DJ Phil not aware for that restart. And he's currently got Fury all over the back of him. Fury looks like he's going to make a lunge already into turn 1. And gets that job done easy as you like. Then Fury up to P3 after one corner, so a good start to the race for Fury. BT Trogger, look at this, 3 wide. BT Trogger and Melted Dazzler have passed DJ Phil. Shoulders looks like he's passed DJ Phil as well. So does Emo Guy now. John Boy looks like he's trying to find his way past DJ Phil. In fact, he has. DJ Phil is being hung out to dry here. He's just dropping places, and he's already last. He's only done 2-3 corners, and he's already down in P14. So not the start DJ Phil would have wanted there. And G really hassling the back of Little Each and trying to get a hurry on this one. John Boy and Emo Guy just ahead, having a good little scrap as well. BT Traga though trying to defend from Melted Dazzler, and Fury looks like he's attacking Smokey Devil already. In fact, Smokey Devil wide.
Smokey Devil been caught out by the wet conditions and gone really wide. That's allowed Fury to get through now, and Fury to try and chase down Charlie, who's made a brilliant start and pulled away from the pack. But already we're seeing the top guys getting caught up in all sorts of bother. As we see Yoni G trying to make his way through, but he's got a fast driver in front of him of Little Each, and Little Each will not allow him through easy. But G looks like he's got a run down on the inside. Let's see how it goes into turn 1.
G gets a great run out, and I think Little Each was getting held up a bit by Smokey Devil. A slow, struggling Smokey Devil to recover there. Little Each has managed to keep the place, as G looked like he was having to defend from Motory Morgan for just a second there, and G is having to defend from Motory Morgan. You see how heavy he's trying to defend, but they're going to try and make it 3 wide possibly into turn 2, and G has gone up the inside of Little Each then, and that's an extra place gain there for the Only G. Little Each is not going to lay down and take that one easy. He's still fighting back at him as they come through turn 2, and they head down towards Flat. I do believe this is Flat Out, Dan, through this section here.
If you're on your own, yes. But if you got people around you, it can be sketchy. And G has finally got through Little Each. These guys aren't really making the progress I was expecting. G has only managed to make up to 9, and it's probably because of Little Each. Little Each is such a good driver and defender, and fast as well. It's one of the drivers they probably struggle the most to get through. But G is now starting to make his way through as he gets rid of Smokey Devil and makes his way onto John Boy. But I've just noticed as well, Fury is caught right up to Charlie now, and Fury's giving him pressure. It's like Charlie's just struggling a little bit now.
He's having a look here, and Fury will want this pressure, want to get through as quick as possible to maybe get away here, and he looks like he's got a good run out the final corner, but so is BT Trager here, who's P3 and sat on the back. Little Each is trying to defend in the background, you saw there, but Fury's going to try the longer way around and isn't going to make that one work. Charlie Goff manages to hold on at the moment. Fury though having to defend and attack at the same time. Melted Dazzler's having a look up the inside of BT Trager, and Fury's got the move done on Charlie Goff, and Trager round the outside of Charlie Goff. He's made that work, an absolute cracking move from them. Melted Dazzler's also past Charlie Goff, so Charlie Goff falling down the pack here. That is Shoulders having a look at Charlie now, and we'll be up the inside here as we come through this. Flat Out on your own, not so much if you're in a pack. Charlie Goff is wide in on the grass then, and can he get it stopped and turned in? He's had to avoid people there, and Emo Guy's got past Shoulders in all of this. Charlie Goff's going to lose out even more places, and there's G and John Boy coming past as well. So Charlie Goff has really been, he's not been bullied out of the way there, but he's just lost so much time. It shows how much one overtaking manoeuvre can really lose you 2 or 3, if not the whole field of places there.
Once you do get pushed out offline, it really is difficult to come back from it, and we've just seen there for Charlie that he's just got absolutely swallowed by the pack. It just took Fury to make one move around the outside, and that's it. Charlie's getting swamped by the pack, but now the pack is really packed up, and it's given G that chance to now start taking these guys one by one. But Fury will now focus on trying to do fast, consistent lap times and try and pull away from these guys, because he knows for sure as soon as G gets clean air, he will be all over him. But G's still got a mountain to climb. He's got Ian in front of him, who also is a very strong defender, and we just see...
that's Melted Dazzle wide. Very wide. Oh, Emo's wide. Emo Guy's wide as well. So that's 2 places that G has been gifted there then. So is John Boy, and Little Each looks like he's going to try and find a way past Emo Guy, and he has done there. So 2 places then for Little Each, John Boy and the Only G, and G now running up in P4 and is really on the back of the leaders, Shoulders, BT Traga and Fury. This tier 1 pack as close as ever as we're on to the 5th lap of this race, 4th racing lap should I say. And BT Traga looks left, looks right on there. Fury there, he gets a bit of a slide and he tapped Shoulders, and Shoulders is off. BT Traga's gone very wide, and G's now up into P2. He's barely had to do any overtaking here because he's been gifted the places, Dan.
Exactly. G's been just given every opportunity, and every time he gets an opening, he takes it. He's only got 1 man left to pass, and that is Fury. These 2 race hard, and Fury will know that G is hunting him down, and he will not want to let him pass. But G has got a championship to think of, so is it worth fighting with these guys? He knows he's in front, and Motive Morgan and Andy aren't making the progress as I thought. No. Motive Morgan only 7th, so he's really struggling to get through the pack.
Maybe struggling in the wet conditions. Yeah, maybe struggling in the wet conditions, Dan. He's got a bit of a gap to Emo Guy as well, so it's not like he's right on the back of Emo Guy. As there goes the Only G, and he's made that move early on. Dan asked a minute ago if he'd go for it. Well, the answer is yes, he will go for it. This is doing wonders for his title race. Only 6 points behind Motoring Morgan, but with Motoring Morgan down in P7, G's gaining some real big places at the moment, real big points.
Very much so. Just making the moves that he needs to do, and now he's just running away. Can these 2, Fury and BT Targa, stay with him? BT Targa looks quicker than Fury at the minute, but he can't seem to find a way past. Yeah, Little Leach having a look on John Boy. Doesn't look like... I think sometimes when you come down that little short straight into the stadium, there's a puddle there that can make you twitch, and it can make you look like you're overtaking.
Yeah.
But G has done exactly what he needed to do before the conditions get too difficult, and he's lapping in the 1:16s. The only man doing the 1:16s. Everyone else can't even get near that time.
No, he's
done a 1:15.8 now.
He's in a different class, is the Only G, and that's the kind of times he's doing on his own out front. Little Each and John Boy here could really do working together to get clear of Fury and BT Traga for their championship sakes. Nonetheless, as BT Traga looked a bit wide, if you ask me there. Oh, he's attacking Fury, that's why. Has he got the run on him? No, he has not. Emo Guy trying to hold off Motoring Morgan as they are coming on the back of Little Each here then. And look at BT Traga really having a look and making Fury having to defend heavily here. And they're going to look up to the hardest section of the track for me. That curb is going to be one to watch, and Motoring Morgan sends one up the inside of Emo Guy, but Emo Guy will take him back, no problem there. You've got to watch yourself on that curb coming into that section, Dan. It can really put you on 2 wheels.
Yeah, it can, and also if you push yourself a little bit too hard and go a little bit too wide, you can also get a slowdown lap. So maybe that's what happened to Motoring Morgan. He had to slow down and give the space. Little Leach trying to go around the outside of John Boy, but these guys all seem to be stuck in a mobile chicane of Fury, who's just doing what he wants to do in this race, and BT Targa seems to have a bad exit there, and it's caused John Boy and Little Leach to get really close to each other.
I thought John Boy
get a run on him.
I thought John Boy tapped the back of BT Traga because he looked like he got out of shape a little bit. Jamie Brazier in the chat says lovely weather. Indeed it is, Jamie. Shorts weather for me. And Little Leach trying to go around the outside then at turn 1. He's going to be doing well to make that stick, and I tell you what, he's kept it there. Good race in this for him and John Boy. And is that Emo Guy having a look up the inside of John Boy? Yes, so they're 3 wide, and Little Each looks like he's gone really wide there. He's been forced out wide. Motoring Morgan's going to come up, and John Boy and Emo Guy touch, and they're off, and that's it. Looty McShooty, Little Each as well has been caught up in this. And there's a gaggle of cars off at the side of the road, and that was all from Little Each and Emo Guy trying to pass John Boy. Emo Guy's tapped John Boy again there, and here comes DJ Phil. DJ Phil could be mid-pack come the end of this straight. That was started with Little Each and Emo Guy trying to pass John Boy, and then Motoring Morgan got in there on the action, and Little Each somehow came away P7 still, but he's well off the back of Shoulders. Andy has been the beneficiary of that, up into P5 now, so a good bit here for Andy, good bit of time to get his foot down. He's got 3 seconds to Motoring Morgan, and look at BT Traga all over the back of Fury. How Morgan didn't get caught up in all of that, I don't know.
Oh my god, that was like Cleo carnage. Wow. How I'm amazed that Motive Morgan and Andy didn't get caught up in any of that. and
good cutback from BT Traga
BT
here.
Finally,
and he's
look
looking
at Morgan. He got bare room.
Oh,
on the
dear.
inside, can he hold it? Oh no, he just holds it on, but
He's got
BT
Fury.
Traga makes it move. He's got Fury.
Oh no, they've touched with Fury.
Back.
Oh, this is where Motory Morgan was involved in an incident last lap with Emo Guy, and this time again he leans on Fury, and they've managed to get through now to BT Traga. Great move from him, great little cutback, and that was absolutely fantastic from him to get up into P2, but now has Morgan hot on his heels.
BT gone really wide there. That gave Morgan just a sniff of a chance, but oh, what a moment Morgan had then. His heart must have been racing at that point. He does not want to be getting involved with these guys. He's got a championship to think of, but also he needs to start catching up to G, because G is pulled away with 4 seconds. Andy looking around the outside of Fury there, but Fury really holding his defense here. He's not driving badly. He just hasn't got the pace of these fast runners.
Yeah.
And he's holding himself strong.
He's doing a good job, and he's up into P5 and on the back of Fury now, but he doesn't, like you say, he's not got the pace of G or Morgan at the moment. Morgan really motoring now and wants to get past BT Traga to head and chase down on his championship challenger. There is Fury having to defend heavily from the yellow and white liveried car of Andy, back in the car today in the Tier 1 Clios. And is he going to have a look around the outside? Fury's defended the inside line very nicely there.
He might come for a switch, and there he is. He's coming down the inside, so he switched on Fury. And
Good
can
move.
he hold it out? Yeah,
He's done
Andy's
it.
got that job done.
Great
Easily
move, just
done.
got the better run out the exit to the corner there and got that move done beautifully.
Yeah, he judged that well. There's a horrible puddle in that second corner that can catch you out, and I think Andy knew that puddle was going to catch Fury out, so he just hanged it a little bit wide, was a bit patient, and then got the traction and pulled underneath him. So that's how he managed to pull that move off. But this seems to be the closest battle on the track at the minute. But they're starting to catch up to G now. He's lost a second or so, but I think he's just pacing himself at the minute.
Yeah, the thing with these Clios is it's really easy to work with the car. Use the cars around you, you get that slipstream. You don't have to overtake each other too much, but you can really help each other to gain on that car in front, and that is potentially what BT Traga and Motory Morgan are doing here. It's more difficult in the Clios when you're in clear air and on your own to catch somebody or really pull away from somebody that's got a slipstream. Really hard. If Motory Morgan gets past BT Traga, he'll hope that BT Traga will stay with him to keep gaining on G, because when he's on his own, I think Motory Morgan could struggle to gain on the back of G. Andy
Possibly.
Andy not wanting to be dropped in the background, with Fury dropped well off the back of Andy, then down in P5. He's actually got Shoulders gaining on the back of him. So Shoulders having a bit of a quiet race so far, but a good run here, and has a chance of getting up into the top 5. Little Each down in P7. Sorry, go on, Dan.
So possibly Shoulders got caught up in all that chaos that happened on that straight. So
Yeah.
he was up there with the likes of BT and all that. Like, he's just got caught up in all that chaos, but he's starting to make his way up onto G now. But BT's holding on to this pressure that Motory Morgan's getting, and that puddle that I mentioned there is starting to get worse and worse now.
Indeed,
So
it
these
is.
guys really have to be careful now. Where we were doing laps of 1:15 and 1:16, everyone's pace has dropped right down, so the puddles are getting worse now.
Yeah, they're really starting to pay havoc with the cars on track at the moment. Down into the 17s and 18s, Fury did a 1:19 last time around, so not the pace he'd have liked. John Boy's down in P9, so not making the inroads after that incident he'd have liked, but after it spread the field out a bit, he's got 2.9 to Looty McShooty. Elta Dazza as well down there, so is Emo Guy. 3 guys you wouldn't have expected to be down there. Little each got caught up in that as well. Shoulders really on the back of Fury now.
Yeah, Fury just getting a bit of pressure from Shoulders here. Looks like he's took a defensive line, and looks like Shoulders tried doing what Andy did, but Fury knew what was coming then.
We've lost Charlie Goff. He got disconnected halfway through the server. He's just commented on the stream, so we've lost Charlie Goff. Hopefully he'll be in for the second race.
No. Oh, Morgan moved up into second there. Got past BT Traga, got him on break-in, and Andy's now right behind him as well. Whoa, Andy, hold it! Whoa, that was a big slide. And he goes right over on the grass. He's probably going to get a slowdown for that, but Morgan finally gets a move done on BT, but BT... Whoa,
Oh, BT's made a mistake. He's touched the grass and made a mistake, and round he goes into the gravel trap. So Morgan up to P2 and Andy up to P3, and here comes Fury and Shoulders in P4 and 5, who are now right back on the back of BT Traga here, and he just made a slight mistake, ran a bit too wide and braked on that white line. If not, the tip of the grass, and it's enough here to send you round in these wet conditions. Fury's gone wide there, and I thought Shoulders for a minute was nearly going to chop his rear end off there, but they've managed to keep going. It's so easy, Dan, in these wet conditions to just put a wheel on the wet stuff on the brakes and lose it. I
feel for BT right now, because I feel like there's a mistake like that I felt in the first race. That just the littlest of puddles, touch the grass, and that's it, snap, and you're caught out. So I feel so bad for BT. He was driving so well and holding the top guys behind him, but he needs to gather his thoughts, get it back together, and get back into the rhythm. He's got 3 minutes now, so anything could happen. The leaders could make a mistake. He's already started to gap Fury and Shoulders behind him a little bit. So that's done well there. Little Each, you can tell, is a lot quicker than the couple of guys in front of him, because he's making some inroads on them. 3 seconds quicker on the last lap. Little Each should be up the front end of the pack, but we saw with a spot of bother early on in this race, let's call it, that caught a few drivers out. Here's Looty McShooty. Not seen much of him, and we probably aren't going to see the best of him in this race due to the conditions, and B, he was another driver who got caught up in that tangle at the beginning. So we may not see the best from Looty McShooty here, but he's giving it a good one, lapping reasonably around the same pace as Andy and Little Each. He's fastest at the minute. He's quickest man on track at the minute, so he's really taken to these conditions. So he's done a 1:17.3 was his last lap, and as I say that, the leaders are now Motory Morgan and Andy are now lapping at that pace. Now they've got clear air, so he's doing all right there. Yeah, good job from Looty McShooty. What's he going to do this time? 17.6, it's consistent, back-to-back 17s. Yeah, and the guys in front of him are doing 18-19, so at this rate he will catch these guys who are fighting hard, and we now got Fury and Shoulders still inseparable, these two, which are just keeping BT in front in sight as well, but the likes of Little Each and Looty will be catching up with these guys and giving them some pressure, so let's see if this will turn into a four-way fight in a minute. Yeah. Good racing from these two. Good hard racing. Fury's just seemed in this race like he's had to defend from so many people. So obviously got in the lead really early on, and then he's just since he's been leading, he's just had to defend for the rest of this race. He's not been able to go in the offensive. He's too busy defending here. Oh, he's just touched that puddle, and so did Shoulders there. And you see both cars get a bit of a wiggle on. Oh, and he's got a wiggle on under braking as well as that loud Shoulders up the inside. No, he's got it back on the apex of the corner on the exit as well. So Fury just living on the danger line there. Nearly made a mistake that we saw BT Trager do, and that would have been catastrophic. Just hang in there, mate. You've got one more lap to survive, but Shoulders is not giving any inch. He is really pushing the pressure on him. Little Each as well, right behind the pair of them. Yeah. But this is probably their final lap now, and Little Each is hoping that these two are going to make a mistake. This is probably the toughest and the closest fight on circuit right now. We have got a minute. The interesting thing here is if Shoulders has to defend heavily from Little Each, this will allow, and you see it already, Fury has gapped Shoulders just a bit more than it has been these last couple of laps, because Shoulders is having to defend from Little Each. Now Little Each, I'm sure, Tier 2 champion, Tier 2 defending champion at the moment, don't forget, here in the Renault Clios, will be a bit brave on the brakes compared to Shoulders. And oh gee, getting a bit sideways there, coming through that puddle. Yeah, looks like G's coming around into the stadium now to finish his final lap of the race. I believe this is the last lap, and what a performance this guy has done. He's kept his nose clean, he's picked up opportunities when people have messed up, and here he comes to take a win here in Hockenheim in the wet. I believe this is final lap. I might be... No, this is the final lap. He's going to cross the line now to take the race win. The timer is out on the clock, and he crosses the line and wins here. Look at Andy really putting the pressure on. Yeah, putting the pressure on. But Morgan second, Andy P3, BT Trager is going to come home in fourth. Not far off the back of them two, so good race for BT Trager. There is Fury, who was really gapped. That's Looty McShooty up ahead of Little Each and Shoulders. Where has Shoulders gone? Fury will get P5 then. Looty McShooty will get 6th. Little Each will come home 7th. John Boy P8. Shoulders has dropped all the way down to 9th, so I'm not sure what happened there. Melted Dazza gets 10th. Emo Guy will cross the line in P11. Here comes DJ Phil after a terrible start for DJ Phil. Went to last after 2 corners. And Smoky Devil has 11 seconds. I don't think he's going to make the line here. But we'll finish P13 nonetheless, but he's not going to make the line here. What happened to Shoulders there? I think Shoulders and Little Each might have got tangled with each other, but... Well, Little Each... I told you Looty was coming. Indeed he was. The Only G then
takes the race win. Motoring Morgan takes P2 and gets the fastest lap, so we'll get the extra point for that then. So Morgan, damage limitations in that one, and he managed to get through to P2 after an incident between half the field at the mid stage in that break. But we're going to be right back with race 2 in just a short moment, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for the feature race here at Motiv Racing. There we go, we're off now.
Wow, what race that was.
Good race.
Chaos.
Good little crash in the middle.
Oh my god. I was trying so hard to get the best angles, but my god. Wow. Ian, I'm not saying a thing about that.
What's that in the general chat?
Yeah, I don't think he's happy.
I mean, him and Little Leech sort of went on. Who was it?
Him,
Little Leech. Who was they trying to overtake?
I'll have a look back, hang on.
And then Morgan got involved, didn't he, after Little Leech ran wide and took out off the field.
Yeah. There definitely was questionable, and I'm amazed that like Morgan and Andy go through that unscathed somehow.
No, they did well.
Alright, let's have a look. There was Emo Guy and John Boy tagging each other.
John Boy, that was it.
Yeah, they then went into the alcove and then swung back into the circuit. Oh, just do as you're told, internet, you stupid thing. I bet they're having a massive debate right now.
That really allowed Morgan and Andy to get up there, didn't it, in that one with both them guys crashing.
Yeah, very much so. They got very, very lucky, and it really helped G just run away as well.
Yeah.
So I can just imagine what Ian is saying right now. You bloody fucking lot.
Will not be happy with that, will Ian?
No. And then Looty got caught in that as well. Little Leech was in the wrong place. Who else is there? Shoulders. Smoky Devil. It's like 7 cars all in this gang.
I've just had a text off a Little Leech. I need that replay, my drive is full. I don't think he's happy neither.
He was in the middle of that.
He got pushed wide, didn't he, to start with, and then
yeah, he was like, he wasn't in any like bad position. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and obviously got pushed out wide. And then everything happened around him, and then he got tangled in it.
He doesn't want it for that. He's just said that I tried, but it was full. Shoulders took me out when rejoined on the last lap. When he rejoined on the last lap.
So that's what happened to him. And he wants the replay to put towards the stewards.
Yeah, which we don't have.
I tried sending it, but I didn't have enough memory.
No. So that explains what happened to Shoulders and how Looty however he got through.
Yeah.
Talk about ready. Oh, I didn't quite catch how many laps that was. Oh, well.
31 laps, I think they put.
Oh, lovely. That'll take half an hour, I suppose. I'm not too bad. It's not the warmest, though. Can I have a coffee, though, please? I mean, consider I'm so struggling to stand on my left leg, please. Oh, I see.
My controllers have been really dodgy tonight. It's really annoying.
Right. No. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to Motive Racing for the feature race here, in which we have got a 15-minute qualification shootout between every driver on the grid. Obviously changed from last year where the top 5 couldn't qualify. Every driver now can. We see Little Leach here really sort of warming his tyres up, slinging it into the corners. That'll get him warm. Craig, don't you worry if you're slinging him in like that. That'll really warm him up. After a cracking first race, Dan, what's your feeling on race 2 with the qualifying here then? Who are you tipping for pole?
It's a hard one. I think G might have the pace on the rest of the guys, but I know for a fact Andy will be giving him a run for his money. Motive Morgan will be giving a run for his money. BT was lapping quite quickly in the practice session as well. But yeah, it's going to be a close one. I'm going to put my money on G, but anything can happen.
Indeed it can. And we'll have to see who goes well here. Fury's one to watch in the second qualifying. He always seems to do something. Always seems to do bits. Little Leach first man out on track and is the first man currently on a hot lap then. No slipstream, clear track in front and behind. On a lovely autumn's afternoon here at Hockenheim. Go on board him on the roof cam now. Now let's see if he keeps it flat through turn 4 here.
I know I did in qualifying, so...
Oh, a little lift. Little lift there from... Oh, a little lift from Little Leach, and that's a little shunt into the wall. DJ Phil Green then comes in.
I thought I'd come off that as quickly as I could, but I doubt he would want the rest of that shown.
Yeah, he'll be. I can only imagine from Little Leach there'll be a few expletives in the behind the steering wheel there. Had all that time in the world, probably had the best run out of turn 1 and 2, and then just loses it at the turn 4 part of the track. We've seen him just had a slight lift on the throttle though as well going through turn 4. You said he was flat. He had a bit of a lift and still managed to lose the rear, so good job, Craig. Well done. Head up for next time though, mate. You've got 12.5 minutes on the clock, still plenty of time to get a load of laps in. Watch for this man John Boy. He's got pace and we'll see what he can do. He'll be wanting to bounce back after a poor first race, especially for his championship battle for what could potentially be 4th place, 3rd place with Little Leach in the championship or BT Trager. So he's going to want to bounce from this one. Here's Fury.
So Shoulders set the pace at the minute with a 1:10.7. So usually the first lap isn't their best. They're just trying to get the tyres up to temperature. So at the minute a 1:10.7, but we might be looking at the 1:9s from the top guys. So
I tell you what though, Dan, a 1:10.7 would have been good enough for about P3, P4 in the Tier 2 laps. So say that's his first timed lap. You can tell why these guys are in the Tier 1 sessions.
Very much so. I mean, I was pushing the car to its absolute limits and I couldn't get out of the 110s. So these guys lapping at the 110s really shows how good these guys are in the Clios. The thing with these Clios, they're very, very light on the rear. As soon as you hit that brake pedal too hard, they like to lift on the rear and it's very difficult to keep it controlled. These guys knows how to keep these cars in stable control. As you see Andy getting a little bit sideways there as he comes into the chicane, and G already goes into the 1.9s. Like I said,
I don't know what to say when G does these kind of times. You know, that's his first time lap. His tyre's not up to full temperature yet. You know, there'll still be a few things that'll need warming up on the car, and he just goes in and does a time like that, 8 tenths quicker than anybody else. You kind of just get lost for words.
Any time I see G drive, it just baffles me. I don't know how he does it or what he does to the car. He does something to it that just puts it on another level. We're just seeing Shoulders now going into second, tops Andy down, so he's only 8 tenths off G's time. So Shoulders really difficult race one. He was caught in all sorts of trouble and all sorts of incidents. So, and I've just noticed as well, we got Charlie back into the.
Yeah, we've got Charlie back. Oh, he looks like he's been in the wall, doesn't he, a bit there. Andy's just gone into the 109s as well with the 109.8, 2 tenths slower than G. Morgan a 110 dead, so half a second behind G at the moment. So Shoulders down to P4 now. But yeah, we've got nice to get Charlie back in. 14 cars, so pretty much a full grid. Obviously, we are missing Gary 131, who's in hospital, and I don't know who else we're missing. I'm not sure we're missing any. TJ Humpy we're missing as well. So 2 guys missing from tonight, unfortunately. So we'll hopefully get a full grid next week. What can Smoky Devil do here? Currently P9 at the moment. Crosses the line now, and no improvement for him.
Just seen that Luti goes up into P4. We've seen he had good pace in the wet, and he's shown he's got good pace in the dry as well. So he's just 8 tenths off the top 3 who have been lapping in these top times. So that's a good lap time from Luti. So maybe he can find a bit more pace somewhere. As we see, I think that Shoulders going really sideways at the back. And I've just noticed Andy's gone quickest now.
Oh.
He's top G's time, only by a tenth though, but he's now on pole position.
He looks like he's about to send that back to the pit lane. And there we go. But yeah, you're right. Just a tenth and a half quicker than the only G. And don't for 1 second think that G's done there with a 109.5. I bet this bloke to get into the high 108s, low 109. Surely he's got more pace in him. I mean, Andy's no slouch behind the wheel. I'm not disrespecting Andy, but G over 1 lap is pretty impressive. So let's see if he has a comeback to that tenth and a half. Does Motoring Morgan have any more time to gain on the front 2 at the moment? And G, there you go, look, a 109.3, 800ths of a second quicker than Andy. G just, you know, it looked, the end of that lap didn't look mighty, but it was enough to get there.
G really does know how to keep a car nice and clean, especially these Clios. We did see as he goes into turn 1, he hanged it sideways, but sometimes you need to hang it sideways to get these cars to do what you want. But you really have to be patient with these Clios, and G just has that patience with these cars. He just knows, as we just see there,
Charlie Goff.
Charlie Goff, probably trying to get out the way and trying to get back into the sink. But G knows how to control these cars and keep them nice and stable, even though he is hanging it sideways. He knows how to hang it sideways in control.
Yeah, indeed he does. Here he's Motoring Morgan. 6 tenths, near enough 7 tenths of a second off the pace of the pole man. And is there any improvement for him this time around? No, there's not. John Boy's up into P4 again, not far off the back of Motoring Morgan as well in terms of lap time. So a good lap from John Boy there. Low 110s for these guys. Shoulders P6. Smoky Devil, a good qualifying for him in P7. Luty McShooty P5, and he's coming to the back end of his lap. So let's see if he's going to improve. Just needs about half a second to get ahead of John Boy and Motoring Morgan there, but it was so twitchy coming out the penultimate corner. That could have lost him a bit of time there. Has he got enough when he crosses the line? No, he hasn't. Doesn't improve.
It's like he ruined that lap time just at the end there, trying to find that extra bit of pace and just losing it there, and he chooses to go into the pit lane. Let's see if John Boy can improve on what he's done.
I'd say the biggest shock for me at the minute, Dan, is Fury down in P14, 6 seconds off the pace. That is really bad. What can John Boy do? Round the final bend, flat out pretty much.
I'm just seeing here on the race feed, Fury seems to be having a lot of times disallowed. So maybe he's just hanging it, he's pushing it too hard and not getting one good banker lap in. So maybe he needs just to tidy things up a little bit. Maybe just keep it calm, Fury. Just nice smooth laps and just do one banker lap and see where it can put you.
Here he is.
He's still got 6 minutes, so he can still.
Oh yeah, bags of time. Bags of time here, and as the track rubbers in a bit more, there'll surely be quite a bit of time to find out there. DJ Phil, the only man in the pit lane, then G's now just joined him in the pit. So does Motoring Morgan. So seems to pit at a similar time. A couple of seconds here and he's right up the sharp end of the grid. If he finds the pace that we know Fury's got, easily mid-pack Little Each for me. The shot down in P9 as well. That is quite poor from him. We see he's got pace, but just not being able to show it here in qualifying. And behind Smoky Devil, Emo Guy's shoulders, he's going to struggle coming the end of this one. Here is Fury then towards the back end of his lap. Is he being able to get a lap time in this time around, or will he be setting himself up for next time? There's John Boy just behind, so no improve. Oh no, Fury has improved up to P12, so 1.9 off the leaders. Little Each then coming into the stadium section now, got to find some time, just a couple of tenths, puts him 3 tenths, puts him all the way up into P5 here. Motor and Morgan's found a bit of time as well, 2 tenths he's found, but it's not enough for pole position so far. And Little Each down in P11 at the moment, crosses the line and back up into P9. BT Traga's gone P5 then, 9 tenths off the pole, so good lap from him, Dan, and a 3 tenths for him. We'll put him up with John Boy. His shoulders entering the stadium section now, down in P7 so far.
This mid-pack seems really tight. This is what's great about Clio's. You got BT Targa, who's 9 tenths off, and then all the way down to Emo Guy. Smoky
Fury.
Devil. It's just three tenths. It's just this mid-pack.
Yeah.
That's how tight these Clio's are. And even in my qualifying session, the top 3 in our guys are only separated by a tenth, I believe.
I remember. Sorry, go on.
No, I was finishing.
I remember a league I raced in earlier this year, and we did the Clio's in that, and the top 16 was covered by a second in qualifying.
It's nuts, and this circuit as well really helps that mid pack to stay tight. The slightest mistake and that's it, you're out of the top 10.
And this was it, the whole qualifying session. I think I qualified about 7th, but yeah, I had not finished lower than P5 that season, but for some reason that one race, that one track, a second between the top 16, so it shows that these Clio's, there's so much time you can make up, so little time to lose. And what, like you said a minute ago, one mistake and you drop him from, a good spot up the grid all the way down to the back of the pack, as we saw with Charlie Goff earlier. He was running P2 at one stage in race 1 and then fell all the way back down to mid-pack towards the back end of the pack, if not before he disconnected, and it can really ruin your race.
Very much so. And this is what's great about the Clio's, the tight racing. Yeah. And it's great for TV, as we've just seen with the first race with these guys. So you see shoulders here, he improves. He moves up into P4. Like I said, this mid-pack's really starting to get...
1,000th of a second quicker than BT Traga there. 1,000th of a second. So that's all he needs to find. He just needs 2,000ths of a second. Through the penultimate corner. Do not run too wide. You'll pick up a slowdown penalty, and he's done that absolutely spot on there. Gets it all over the curb. Can he cross the line and finish it strong? Has he gained any time? No. G behind him. Does G gain any time? No. I tell you what is it? You've got a 1:10.6 from Smoky Devil. He's a second, 1.2 off the pole time. I mean, that's not even a great deal there. With a slipstream in the race and a few incidents and a few bumps up the sharp end of grid. That's nothing. Smoky Devil could find him.
Ian next in the final corner now. Let's see if he can improve. And he doesn't, I'm afraid. But when you say about the slipstream, I find around here the slipstream doesn't have that much of an advantage, in my opinion.
No, it doesn't look it.
In a straight line, these Clio's aren't very quick, and as soon as you get into that slipstream, they do help, especially around places like Silverstone, National, where we raced, Snetterton definitely as well. But it's very tight and twisty, and the littlest of mistakes here, I don't feel like the slipstream helps. It's better off you just have a clean air, get the nice smooth lines.
The straights aren't as long, are they, here? The 2 real big straights you've got, they're not as long and as effective. Like last week you had the start straight at Catalunya. Good long straight, good long stretch to get that slipstream and make the toe really work. Here you don't have that. You come out the last corner and before you know it, you're at turn 1 again. So you've not got the length that you'd probably need for the slipstream to be as effective as we've seen it. G's gone even quicker, by the way. He's done a 1:09.1.
Yeah,
so that is impressive. 2 tenths quicker than this man, Andy, now. Who was pushing the track limit boundaries there. Is he going to improve this time around?
Does he? No. Don't believe he does.
No, he doesn't.
But Andy really having to push these Clio's, and probably G's probably not breaking a sweat at the minute, and he just hangs out a little bit too wide, trying a little bit too hard. But it is some feat to try and take G down. Andy's doing very well to be 2/10 behind him, but Motive Morgan doesn't seem to have an answer for these guys. He's just sitting in the pits.
I was about
G's
to say
now
to
in
you
the
then,
pits.
Dan, the interesting thing for me with Andy now racing in these Clios, splitting Morgan and G, that could really put a thing on a twist on the championship here.
As we see Looty get out the way of John Boy. John Boy coming up to finish his lap. These guys might get one more shot, so maybe that's what Looty's trying to do, try and get some air. But as we see John Boy now finally exiting the final corner, can he improve on this lap time? As we see G puts in the comments, few. So he thinks he's got pole position, and John Boy looks like he stays in 6th. So no one really improving at the minute. Everyone's kind of staying at their same pace. But can Andy... Andy's in the wall.
So he's not going to get a good run in. No, he's not going to get another run there neither. So
No.
G, Andy, Morgan, Shoulders, Melted Dazza, Smoky Devil and Charlie Goff all done. Qualifying has finished. Emo Guy's just been able to sneak in one last lap here. As we
Just
see
trying
Looty
to
McShooty.
As we see, I'm trying to get him in as they come around the track, but we got John Boy here. I think he's the first of the last runners, I believe. But he's coming up into the stadium section now, and these probably might get a slight advantage following each other, or it might hinder them trying to watch their lines. But the stadium's very tricky section, as we see John Boy just trying to negotiate his way through here, coming into the final corner now. Can he improve his lap time and get closer to the top guys?
Through the final corner, very well done. Just touched that curb on the exit, and he's done that absolutely beautifully here. And it's this run down to the line that he needs. A couple of tenths will move him up a few places. He improves, but it's not enough. Looty McShooty doesn't improve at all. Neither did the car behind him. BT Trager stays P5. A lot of cars coming in the pits. Here comes DJ Phil Green, currently 3.9 off the pace, and doesn't improve there neither. So that's qualifying done for this one, and it's G who takes pole with a 109.1. Absolutely fantastic time from him.
Yeah, and we see Andy there separating the championship leaders. The one thing Motoring Morgan probably doesn't want to see. This is going to be very interesting into the first few corners. Shoulders up there as well, doing a good lap time to get in with these guys. Maybe he can do something from there.
Oh.
As we can see, it's very foggy here. Very foggy.
The fog has came down here at Hockenheim. It's very thick as well. It doesn't help. It's in the dark. This could be an interesting race to keep our eyes on here. We may have to do a few onboards to see what's happening with the car, but we can see fine at the moment. So the grid, the only G on pole, Andy in 2nd, Motoring Morgan P3, Shoulders in 4th, good qualifying for him with BT Trager P5, John Boy and Melted Dazza then 6th and 7th, Emo Guy in 8th, Looty McShooty in P9, Little East down in 10th. So the man 3rd in the championship at the minute, down in P10, struggling on this circuit today. Smoky Devil P11 with Fury 12th. I said he's a man to watch for race 2, but he's struggled in the 2nd qualifying session. Charlie Goff down in P13 and DJ Phil in 14th. So let's see what these guys can do. We've got 31 laps here of Hockenheim short. It's about a minute a lap, a minute 10 a lap through here for the next half an hour with me and Dan, aka on Orthodubs, to take you through what should hopefully be some absolute cracking battles. So we look like we're ready to go here. Everybody's readied up, sorted the race strategies out, and we're all synced up and we're ready to go. And we're green here for the feature race at Motive Racing. It's a good start from G, a good getaway. He's come across to cover Andy off already, and now they're going to come back and cover Motoring Morgan off. Morgan looks like he's got alongside Andy. No, Andy's got that one done, but G already into turn 1 has created a gap, and that's Andy very, very wide there coming out of turn 1. Then Morgan up into second place. Yeah, great move from him. Andy was all out of shape coming on the exit to turn 1, but Andy's fighting back here. Look at him go. He's going to try and go around the outside of Motoring Morgan. As we come up to the dreaded turn 4. Is he going to brave it out around the outside? Indeed he does. He's going to line himself up beautifully for the inside line. Good move from Andy to get the position back. So it's G from Andy. Motoring Morgan shoulders P4. John Boy up into 5th already off the line. So a good start from him. Emo Guy's up into 6th. Melted Dazzle 7th. Little Leech up to 8th. BT Traga's dropped down to 9th place. Looty McShooty's dropped to 10th. So not sure what happened there. Smokey Devil 11th. Fury in 12th. With Charlie Goff 13th and DJ Phil P14 already. And we're seeing the only G 7/10ths clear and 1.1 clear of Motoring Morgan already. So he's really on that opening lap. Dan got his foot down and has got away here.
Yeah, as Andy and Motoring Morgan were too busy battling with each other, G has made himself a little bit of a gap, but Andy's starting to come back at him now on that later half of that lap. So we'll keep an eye on Andy and Morgan, but these guys need to start pulling away from these guys. And we see John Boy trying to make a move on Shoulders down the inside. Has he got the move done? Shoulders giving him enough room there, but he might, hasn't got quite the run on it. So we'll see if he can do an Andy and go right around the outside and brave and try and get that inside line. He's got a good run on him here. We'll see if he can throw one down the inside. And I believe he's too far back.
He's having a look. He's having a look.
Shoulders has gone wide. Shoulders gone very wide. So maybe he can get. No, it's quite hard to get that overlap through there. But that's allowed Ian to get right on the back of them. Emo Guy really hustling these two now.
I've noticed Shoulders has picked himself up a time penalty. As Andy at the moment as well. So a couple of seconds there maybe for them too. But at the minute, Emo Guy really putting the pressure on John Boy. Little Leech trying to apply the pressure to Melted Dazzler here as they're in the stadium section coming up to the final couple of corners. And look at him gain on him through the penultimate corner. Get that bit of a toe for this short straight and see if you can line them up and move maybe a sooty send it manoeuvre into turn 1 as we start the 3rd lap of this race. A very quick short lap here, so this half-an-hour race will be over in a flash. And that Shoulders who's dropped one onto the curb and has binned it around the corner then, so drops 2 wheels over the curb and goes round. That's allowed everybody past him. He's dropped down to P11 and continues to lose places at the moment. He's got back going, looks like he's going to stay P11 for the time being, but how horrendous here. He's got a decent start and was just dropping down. Let's just a quick reminder as well, the pit window opens as from lap 10, so you cannot pit until lap 10. Andy here though being pressured by Motoring Morgan like you would not believe. He's got a time penalty as well, and Morgan will want to get rid of Andy here, Dan, to get back onto his championship rival.
This is the worst thing that could be happening to Morgan right now, having Andy in between him and G, while G is out in front and controlling the pace. He doesn't need to push hard. Andy with a time penalty, so Morgan might know that he's got a penalty there, but this is the worst start that Morgan could have. He would want to ditch Andy as quickly as possible, but it was a lot cleaner that first half of that start, so it's nice to see the guys kept it a little bit cleaner then. John Boy moving up into 4th due to Shoulders having a little bit of an issue, and Ian as well just keeping up pace with them. But yeah, Morgan, not good for Morgan, this isn't.
No, it's really not. Oh, that's BT Traga. Oh, bit of lag maybe. Oh, that's a shame. Looks like we could lose BT Traga here.
Just like we got Looty right onto the back of Little Leech. I did say Looty was quite
we've lost BT Traga. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, that's a shame. These connections really do hinder people, especially like the BT.
Melted Dazzler on 2 wheels coming through that section there. That curb really hitting that hard, and he could have easily rolled that there, but like you said a minute ago, Looty McShooty looking sharp and wanting to find a way past Little Leech.
Yeah, these cars are very, very similar with each other, obviously, but with the setups and everything, some people can really drive these cars a lot better. And Looty shows that he doesn't have the fastest overall pace, but on a race pace, he looks a lot quicker. Yeah. He's really giving Little Leech a run for his money. I just noticed G's dropped right down. What's happened here?
I think he must have had a slowdown penalty. His car doesn't look badly damaged or anything. No. I'm wondering if he's received a slowdown, and with Motoring Morgan not having one, he needs all the time he can get, but that's put him down to P3 at the moment. So Andy leads this race currently with a time penalty though. Morgan all over the rear of him, and G's got to do it all again now as he's got to pass them both and get back in the lead, pushing a bit too hard when he may not have needed to be fair, and that has really cost him. Shoulders is back up to P9, so making a charge through the field, but is a long way behind Looty McShooty, who's a good 8 seconds in front of him up the road. But there's the battle for the lead at the moment. We're 3 for the lead, and I'm sure John Boy in the background will be wanting to get on the back of this pack as well. I'm not sure what happened to Jeets. The only thing I can think of, there's no damage that car, is it must have been a slowdown, Dan. He must have had cut a corner or just ran a bit wide somewhere.
Could possibly be a slowdown. This final corner, you just go over that curve ever so slightly, and then the slowdown comes in effect. So he could have had a slowdown. He might have made a mistake, maybe pushing the car a little bit too hard, and got a slowdown. I know sometimes the game thinks that you've cut a corner even though you're going sideways. So
yeah,
but maybe that's what's happened. But he now needs to get back and start chasing these guys again, which he's already done. He's caught the back of Morgan already. Andy really holding each other up now, and has really allowed G to get back. All he has to do now is get past him.
Oh, has he got another slowdown? Has he got another slowdown?
Yeah.
He's dropped well off the back again, and here comes John Boy. We saw G and John Boy battling out around Catalunya last week, and John Boy's going to have the speed and the momentum, and he's done G easily there. G's not going to get him on the outside here. He's going to think of the cutback maybe, but John Boy has placed that car absolutely to perfection then. So G just making little errors here, and that's another place he's lost. He's now down to P4, just as Dan was saying. He's on the back of him. Look at this battle in the background. Little Each melted Dazza and Looty McShooty. In fact, that's Emo Guy. What's happened to Ian? He's dropped down to P8. He was running just behind John Boy. He's now down to P8, so he's made a mistake somewhere as well. But Little Each all over the back of Melted Dazza, pushing him, in fact. Looking for the switchback here, surely. You've got to watch out, though, for Looty McShooty just behind. Look at him gain through the penultimate corner. And look at the time. Little Leach has lost through the penultimate corner. But now that's G and John Boy side by side. G will have the inside line coming into turn 1 and gets that move done before the braking zone then. So G back up to 3rd. John Boy, I want to try and stick with him in P4, but Little Leach, Melted Dazza and Looty McShooty all look race here. Is this Looty going to have a look up the inside of Little Leach? And in fact he does. He's going to send one there. Can he keep it around the inside? He'll be on the outside for the next part of the track. Now I think he's going to be probably better off tucking it back in. He'll be on the outside again here at turn 4.
But he might have the inside into the chicane, so watch out for Luke.
No, he's backed out of that one, and Little Leach defends well. That's allowed Ian on the back of Looty McShooty here, so cracking driving between these 4 guys, all within close proximity of each other, and are really wanting to pressure. It was funny there, because Little Leach pressured Dazza, then Looty pressured Little Leach. Now Looty's got Ian to pressure him, and just that little bit of pressure from behind is causing that guy in front to just pull a bit of a gap out in front over the other person. Melted Daz has a bit of breathing space. One man who doesn't have breathing space still is this man Andy on lap 7 then. We're just about to start the 8th lap of this race, and Andy has not been let up by Motoring Morgan once. That gap has stayed pretty much the same. He's had Motoring Morgan hanging off the rear bumper of that car. May as well be towing him along the circuit, how close these two are together. Little Each slaving to the friend from Looty McShooty.
Well, Looty looks like he's giving him a push on Little
Oh,
Leach.
Ian's round! Ian's round in the background. Looty McShooty's
just gone down the inside of Little Leach here.
Oh, what's happened to Melted Dazza?
What?
He's just pulled off. Maybe a slowdown penalty, but he's pulled off. Little Leach got the move back on Looty McShooty, but Ian lost the car, and Melted Dazza's dropped to P7 then with a potential slowdown penalty. But Little Leach defending hard here from Looty McShooty as they look now to reel in John Boy next up the road. But these two battling it out on track, and they're matching each other. Similar pace between the two of them, just a couple of hundredths in it last time around.
Wow, what on earth happened there between Ian and Melted Dazza? These two just lost concentration by the looks of it.
Yeah,
but that's allowed Little Leach and Looty, who seem to have a bit more composure driving these Clios. But I've just noticed as well that G isn't really making much time on the guys in front. But
he has that lap. He has that lap. 0.6 of a second. He's made that lap.
Look, John Boy's lapping similar. John Boy is watching what G's doing, and he's taking his lines. Yeah,
he's matching it. He did this at Catalunya last week, Dan. He did this with G in both a sprint and feature race at Catalunya, and John Boy was really close to G. Sometimes overtook G.
Now.
Yeah, he's got that move done. And yeah, John Boy last week was matching G's times.
It looks like that John Boy prefers to have G in front of him then, so he can watch his lines and figure out how the master does it. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. And Little Leach, is he trying to recover back from Looty? Looty goes a bit deep, but it's very easy to go deep into that chicane. I've done it a few times, and is Little Leach trying to get the undercut here?
Oh, he had a look at it there. He sure did. The fog has lifted here at Hockenheim, so conditions have improved here. And Little Leach is going to look up the inside now and sends one into the stadium complex. He's going to be on the inside line for the next part, but then we'll be on the outside effectively after that. He's got to get the move done here. He can't. He's going to be hung out to dry around the outside. And I think Little Leach has sort of braked a bit early. Oh, we've got a bit of lag from Looty McShooty, who shoots back in front of Little Leach there. So a bit of lag for Looty McShooty. And I tell you what, some great driving into that stadium complex. A good sending manoeuvre from Little Leach. And Looty saw him coming and kept it, managed to run that bit wider to keep it clean.
Yeah, now the leaders are now starting to lap as quickly as G and John Boy. So
they've responded, yeah.
Yeah, looks like Andy's picking up the pace a little bit, and Morgan doesn't seem to have anything for him. He's just following him around, and the more and more he keeps following him, the more and more Andy will know where he's stronger in each sector. So right now Morgan, I don't think he's too bothered about Andy right now. He can probably just let him sit in the front because he's now in front of G and out.
Still 21
G,
laps to go. Yeah, still 21 laps to go. He's got time to just see where what Andy can do. As Looty's got stayed in front of Little Leach here as we come into the stadium section one more time. Will he think about sending it again? Looty will be aware of that last time round, and Little Leach can't do it this time.
Great driving from these guys, keeping it very clean and giving each other space. And I know for a fact Little Leach is a very clean driver. I race him and sim plays, and he's very clean and very aware of what's going on around him. And Looty hasn't got a better driver to race against than Little Leach right now. So these guys are keeping it very clean, which is allowing Melted Desert just to catch back up to these guys after making that slight mistake, either a slowdown or gone wide. But he's caught back up to these guys.
Yeah, indeed he has. Fury's down in P13 at the minute. So what is happening with Fury in the second race? Well, he's just past DJ Phil as we cut to him there, but not the race for Fury at the moment. We're on lap 10, so Fury's going to go into the pits. Oh, he's going very slow. What's going on with Fury? Oh, he's pitted. He's retired from the race. He's retired from the race, so I'm not sure what's happening with Fury, but he's retired from the race, and DJ Phil is going to be the first man to make the pit stops as the pit window is open now. Little Leach has just dropped off the back of Looty McShooty and is just falling into the grasps of Melted Dazza here. G has picked himself up a time penalty, though, I'm noticing, Dan.
Oh yeah, that's not good. That's not good. If it's like a second or something and John Boy can stick with him, then that's really going to hinder G. So he's going to keep that in mind. So wonder what he's going to do. But none of like any of these top guys are coming into the pits. They've all stayed out. So they're all going to hang it out for as long as possible.
One thing with Andy. Sorry, go on.
G looks like he's had a bad lap time of 1:13.6. So and we've got
now one thing I will say about it, when you get a slowdown penalty, it actually adds to your lap time. So you still get the time penalty, and then your lap time will have a couple of seconds added to it. So it may not be that he's made a few mistakes, but it may be that the time penalty's added like a second or two onto it, depending on what time penalty he's got. So that may be the problem. One thing with Andy is he does love a long run and a late pit stop. Charlie Goff we see coming into the pits now. So that's the second person to pit. DJ Phil and Charlie Goff from P12 and 11. Andy does love to go long and overcut everybody. Well, he's in the lead at the minute, so he's got the upper hand over strategy. And Morgan's dropped off the back of Andy over these last couple of laps, Dan. Andy being allowed to have a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, very much so. And also, it's allowed Andy to extend his penalty that he's had. I'm just noticing in the stream here that Fury was caught up with Charlie Goff and Smokey Devil. And he's just a little bit frustrated with what's going on. So I believe he's retired due to that. So
maybe let's do an inquiry after the race on that one. Then we'll have to see.
If you feel like there's something to put towards Fury, fill in the form and we'll have a look. But this has allowed Andy to just get away a little bit. Morgan still within range, but I was here. Ian's now piled into the pits, and I know for a fact Emo guy loves to get his pit out the way and to try and make up time. So he's getting his pit stop done and out the way.
So third man into the pits so far. The leaders currently by Andy have Charlie Goff coming up in front of them, who will be a lap down in just a moment. Looty McShooty's been overtaken by Little Leach somewhere. We haven't caught that one on the stream, but Melted Dazza still with these two. And I tell you what, this has been the battle of the second race so far. These three relentless. They're not giving up on each other here.
No, it's great to watch. These guys are really keeping it clean and giving each other space, and it's great to see this. And like I said, Little Leach is He's just got back in front of Luti, and Luti might be getting a little bit frustrated with that, but these guys are lapping similar to each other, so maybe if one of them are going to be brave enough to go for the pit,
Melted Dazzle.
I say that, and he's going to try and get the undercut, see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, pulling a few strings. Do Little Leech and Luti react to this on this lap time? Then they're gaining on DJ Phil, who is a lap down.
For these boys, it's now hammer time.
Little Leech and Luti here having an absolute cracking battle. It's been nice and clean as well. Great to see on track. Melted Dazzle stuck with him. Do they react to Melted Dazzle this time around, or what would you do in this circumstance?
If I was Melted Dazzle, I would have done exactly what he done. But in this situation, I don't know. It's a tricky one. You know, you're racing hard with the guy behind. If you pit now, if I was Luti, I would come in now. I know that Melted Dazzle would be pressurising me, but if I could clear Little Leech in that lap, then I would stay out. But if I was Luti right now, I would get my pit out the way and just cover Melted Dazzle.
Cover Melted Dazzle, try and undercut Little Leech maybe,
And if I was Little Leech, I would cover whatever Luti does. So if Luti pitted, then I would pit. But these guys are staying out. DJ Phil, I believe, getting right out the way there.
Yep, nice to see from the back marker there. G's got past Morgan. G has got past Morgan for P2. In fact, Morgan's repassed G then. So these two having a bit of a scrap for second and third. This is allowing Andy to stretch his legs and pull away here. So G having a really good time of it so far.
Not really going well for G in this feature race. We're now coming up to halfway through the race, and for what seemed like a very dominant start, is now turned into a bit of a chasing game for G. These two are going to be a little bit annoyed that Andy's out leading, but they got to focus on their own championship right now. And Morgan has got G all over the back of him, and I know for a fact that that Monster Energy car right up behind him would be the worst thing to see right now.
Yeah, definitely. G does have the time penalty though, so maybe it's a fight Morgan doesn't need to fight here and can let G pass. G is pushing Morgan through that last corner. G has so much more pace and motor in Morgan. At this track, it would seem Morgan doesn't have anything. Luti still behind Little Leech. That gap's pulled out a bit more. But Morgan and G here really fighting, really scrapping with it. It's allowing Andy's now 1.5 up the road. G's going to pull out and have a look around the outside. Does he think of a cutback then? In fact, I think he has chose to go for a cutback. Morgan will be on the inside for turn 3 and 4, but G's going to hang it around the outside. You know he's not going to leave this one to settle. G's going to keep it pinned there.
This is going to be close.
He'll have the inside line for turn 5, and on the brakes they go, and Morgan will have to settle for a cutback. They touch a little bit there, but G's got the job done, and back into P2 is the only G. Great stuff from these two, door to door, wheel to reel. Bit of a bump along the way as well, but Morgan had no answers for the only G there. He thought he'd covered him off at turn 3, but G just hung one round the outside and got it done later on the brakes into turn 5. Great move.
Oh my god, my heart was in my mouth in that. I wonder what they were like. Morgan must be getting really frustrated with that. There was nothing he could do, and G set him up at lap 2 to get him all the way down into the chicane. Wow, good racing, close door banging, and these guys got a lot of respect for each other, as you can see. But now G needs to pull away and get away from Morgan. Morgan knows that these two have a penalty. Morgan doesn't, so he just needs to hang on to the back of these guys.
I'd pit early if I was Morgan here, possibly thinking getting my pit stop out of the way and maybe trying to get that one done. Melted Dazzle's progress is down in P8 at the minute behind Shoulders, quite a way behind Shoulders as well actually. He's 30 odd seconds near enough behind Little Leech and Luti McShooty here, so Melted Dazzle not having the best run since making his pit stop, and that could really hurt him when it comes to Little Leech and Luti McShooty pitting. It's not the longest of pit lanes here.
You say come into the pit. If Morgan came into the pit, I would say he would come out maybe in front of Shoulders or behind of Shoulders. It's going to be closer to him, I would say. So it would give him maybe some clean air, but if I was him, I would get my pit stop done and then make these guys work for it now.
I'd make G think about it and Andy think about it if he pulls the trigger.
Yeah, very much so.
But it's a hard one to call, because if Morgan came in the pit and let's say John Boy, Little Leech and Luti did as well, you'd imagine Morgan would still come out P3.
Yeah, and it's that that positioning out on track. Where do you get dropped into? I don't know how long it takes for a pit stop around here, but if he gets put into a really bad point of the track and get caught up in traffic, it's just gonna get rid of the whole advantage that he had. Looty now pits, and we'll see what Little Leech and Melted Dazzler can do. Can Melted Dazzler make up that time that he had lost in the pit stop?
So that's an interesting one. I had just noticed that Looty was just ever so slightly dropping off the back of Little Leech, but Looty looks like he's going to be outdone by Melted Dazzler here.
He's only now coming out the pit box, and Melted Dazzler has cleared him, so looks like
Looty's lost a lot of time.
He's now coming out into race speed, and there goes Melted Dazzler. So the undercut worked well for him there. Perfect timing for him to get that done.
I wonder if Looty had made a mistake on his in-lap, because he's lost so much time there to Melted Dazzler. He's a long way behind Melted Dazzler at the moment. And don't forget, Melted Dazzler was well in front. It was just behind Looty, sorry, as he pitted. He's gained 3 seconds on Looty there. Little Leech doesn't pit this time around, so overcutting Melted Dazzler even more and trying to overcut Looty McShooty as well. He's got clean air though, that's the important thing. Clean air to just pump in the good lap times.
Yeah, and I've just noticed as well, G is now starting to bring that gap down to Andy. Starting to lap much quicker, but he seems to be getting a lot of track invalids at the minute. So he might be pushing it a little bit too hard again, but he's right onto the back of Andy now.
Is that on the race feed, the track invalids?
It's coming up, not yet, but there's like a little triangle on the side.
Oh, the triangle on the side is to say they're within a second? The triangle indicates the battles, because I know you're new to the commentary thing, so the triangle indicates the battles, and the race feed doesn't actually show up for the race, it only works for the commentary. So
that helps now.
That helps. Dan, new to commentary, only started last week on the LMP2, this Saturday just gone, sorry, on the LMP2s. He's got a heck of a run, and I tell you what, Andy's not fighting this one too much. Andy could lose out around the outside. No, I never see G take one round the outside. He always looks for the cutback.
He's gone for the cutback here.
He has. He's gone for it, and it's worked. It's pulled off an absolute treat, and G leads this race once more here from Andy. Motory Morgan's gained on him. In fact, Andy has not backed out of this. Little Leech has just come into the pits, so we'll see where he comes out ahead of Looty or Melted Dazzler. Andy's not gave this one up, but G's going to do him like he did Motory Morgan, and Andy was all sideways there coming through turn 4, and he's still side by side with G. He's still not giving this one up. This is great racing. Here's Morgan up the inside of Andy, and this could be for P2 right on the back of G. Morgan's been brought into play. A treat here. Andy will have the inside and defends that one off from Morgan, and that's job done, you'd say. Little Leech still in the pits at the moment. He's coming out now. Where's Melted Dazzler? Little Leech has done Melted Dazzler. I reckon Looty. Oh no, Dazzler's just done Little Leech.
I told you it'd be close, and Melted Dazzler has overcut the pair of them.
I think Looted. Oh, Morgan's in the pits now. Yeah, Morgan's in the pits now. I reckon Looty made more of a mistake on his in-lap than what we think then, because he dropped well off the back of Melted Dazzler. Little Leech has then lost out to Melted Dazzler. Shoulders hasn't pitted yet, neither I don't believe. John Boy as well is in the pit lane. So just the two leaders, Shoulders, Smoky Devil I do believe to pit. But what a move from G. What a bit of racing from the three leaders there. Absolute cracking stuff. And when do we see Andy nearly lost it at this point on the last lap? That was interesting. That could have been so bad for Andy that it would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, very much so. And this is handy for Morgan now. He's popped out into clean air. There's no cars in front of him, so maybe he can pump in some good lap times. But it depends on what these guys do. Do they react now, or do they hang out a little bit longer? So Morgan has got his lap done, his pit stop done. He knows that he can just push on, and G pits. So G is responding, and Andy stays out.
Smoky Devil's in the pits as well, so G is responding to Motory Morgan then.
It'll be interesting to see where Morgan comes out now. So
yeah, P3 clear air. But like you say, he got brought back into that battle, didn't he, and was right on the back of G and Andy come the end of his lap. So it'll be interesting to see where G comes out. Little Leech gaining on the back of Melted Dazzler.
But Looty's lost a lot of time to these guys. Whatever happened in the pit stop has really affected him now. But I'm going to go back to the leaders as we see Morgan here, and G is now coming out of his pit box. and comes up towards full speed. Will he have cleared him? I believe he has, but Morgan is going to be much faster into turn 2. But now G holds him back, but Morgan just didn't work that undercut, and G responded just a little bit too quickly.
Indeed he did. Morgan then has done... He did the right thing for me. You know, he's not too far off the back of G, to be fair. I think G's got the pace over Morgan in this one as well. Little Leach trying to get in on the back of Melted Dazza here. These two should be... They've both had a time penalty and should... Oh, that's Looty McShooty well wide in the background there. It's as if he didn't brake at turn 1.
Wow. That's one way to take turn 1. Wow, going rally crossing there, boy.
I can't believe that. That's some line.
I mean, I don't think I managed to go that wide, so maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, but I think he's starting to push that little bit too hard. So what does Andy do now? He's in this situation that he's out on his own. Does he start lapping as quickly as he possibly can?
Well, the thing is, I've noticed with Andy, I've commentated on quite a few motive races now, and the thing with Andy is he always pits late. Never pits early, does Andy? He never takes you by surprise and pits early. But he always leaves it till like the last, under 10 laps. So any time now to the end of the race he pits. I think Andy is going to be monitoring that gap. And I think the minute he sees that G's starting to gain, he'll come in, which G is slightly gaining at the moment. So I think Andy will be in sooner than we think. As the fog looks like it's coming back down here, does it? It's starting to looks a bit thicker in the air.
Yeah, very much so. It's starting to get a lot darker again, so maybe the temperature will drop as well. So we'll see what happens now, but it all still to play for. We still got about 8 laps.
Yeah, about 8 laps left.
Yeah, still got about 8 laps still, so anything can still happen. We're still waiting on Andy to pit. We know G has pitted and Motu Morgan as well.
I believe we're waiting on Shoulders. John Boy's pitted.
John Boy has pitted, Shoulders as well, so he's trying to go as long as he possibly can. Closest fight at the minute is these guys, Melted Desert and Little Leach as well. These guys have just not left each other alone. They've finally dropped Looty, I think. Looty is just starting to struggle.
Yeah, he's making silly mistakes, is Looty, at the moment. We've seen it one earlier where he was so wide at turn 1, it looked like you're off to the shops, but... Little Leach and Melted Dazza, it's been a cracking battle. Little Leach has just found himself in a battle with these guys all night. Ian hasn't recovered from his earlier spin down in P9, and it's not been the best of races for him. Smoky Devil, he's doing alright. He's running P10, lapping similar to Ian. He's keeping Charlie Goff at bay, although he's got 20 seconds over Charlie Goff, who coincidentally is only 6.5 up the road from DJ Phil. So Charlie's got to make sure... Oh, look at DJ Phil, that car's been a bit battered. No headlights.
It's going to be very difficult to race.
Oh, I tell you what.
In the practice sessions that we did with G and Andy, we kind of did a silly moment and switched the lights off, and it is very difficult to see at night. Very difficult. So
I was on the other night with a few lads over at Simplay, and we're at Fuji this week for a night race. And Dean Wasaki came, lunged, sort of a sooty send it into turn 1, but because he didn't have his lights on, like, I kind of took my line as normal, and as I was about to get to the apex of the corner, I just saw this car sort of have to cut the corner a little bit, and I was like, oh crap. I didn't say crap, it was a bit more of an expletive, you know. Lunged to the left on the wheel, like, D, get your lights on, come on. Like, I can't, I've crashed, they're not working. Well, pit then. It kind of took me by surprise, but Melted Dazza here really doing a fine job, undercut Looty and Little Leach, and has done a fine job. The only G, 24.1 off the back of Andy, lapping a couple of tenths quicker than this man motoring Morgan, and Morgan's just not had a response for G in this race, to be fair.
No, it looks like G has just got him covered. At this minute, Andy's in a tricky situation. He's 24 seconds ahead of G. I think it's roughly about 30 seconds of pit stop by the looks of things, so maybe less. I think in 25 maybe, but
it could be tasty between him and John Boy come the end of this race. If it is 30 seconds for a pit stop, it could be very tasty. I think it might be 25, because if they're lapping consistently, then he should just pop behind G, and G's been lapping not blisteringly fast, but I think it might be around 25 seconds, because I don't think The leaders all matching each other. Within 2/10 of each other are the leaders in terms of lap times. So good pace from them guys. The other battle, Melted Dazzler and Little Leech, they're lapping similar as well. Here they are. Look at these guys go. Really are putting on such a display for us here. The fog really starting to roll in now. And Little Leech is gaining on the back of Melted Dazzler. Time penalties will play a part in this one between these two as well.
Good clean driving, which is nice to see. These guys really giving each other their space and keeping the awareness around. So you guys have been putting a good show on for us, and which is nice to see, and I'm pretty sure both of them will be loving it. I know that I love a good hard fight that's clean and fair, so these guys are probably loving it, and if I was me, I'd be sitting there as Little Leech and really enjoying this.
Knowing
I'd
Little
rather
Leech,
have a nice clean fight.
Knowing Little Leech as I do, he'll be pumped after this one. He'll be really chuffed. It's not the result he'd been wanting P7, but he'll be up for the fact that he's had a cracking battle throughout this race with whoever it's been, and it's been a good, clean, hard force race between him, Melted Dazzler and Looty. Andy then still yet to pull the trigger, and we do believe Shoulders is yet to pull the trigger. He has lost a lot of time. 2 seconds he's lost this lap.
Yeah.
Bit of a mistake somewhere.
I think he's lost like 3 seconds to G, because he's done a 1:12.3 and G did a 1:09.2. So are those tyres starting to go now? Those front tyres really taking a battering. No, he's really leaving it for the last minute. But we go back to Melted Dazzler and Little Leech. These guys still putting on a great show. Little Leech just can't quite get close enough to throw it down the inside. Maybe he's got a good run here. He really wants to be on the outside of. He's gonna try and
look at
it out for the outside.
Now thinks better of it, and Dazzler able to close off turn 5. Easy though to get the cutback here at turn 5, but Dazzler's done absolutely brilliant to get that car parked on the apex and stay in front. This is a fantastic scrap here, so clean. You could sometimes see drivers make a little lunge for it, but these two have been absolutely brilliant. John Boy then, P4, he's got Shoulders gaining on him, but I'm sure Shoulders is still to pit, you know. Don't hold me to that one, but I don't remember seeing Shoulders in the pits.
I'm not sure either. I think he might have, but again, just no idea. I think he might have been one of the few guys early on to come in, possibly. If he had, that's been a brilliant comeback. But these guys are close. But this fight here is just not going to end until the last lap, I think. I
think most of this feature race has been on board Melted Dazzler, Little Leech or Looty. It's been endless pressure from either one of these guys. It's been back and forth all race. Melted Dazzler had an absolute cracking pit stop. Great strategy from him to do the undercut, and it worked a treat. But he's got the pressure of Little Leech now, and Little Leech is relentless in his pressure, and he's pursuing Melted Dazzler into possibly making a mistake. The current Tier 2 champion.
Just noticed Ian's starting to catch up to the back of Looty here.
Yeah, we saw Looty make a few mistakes, and his pace wouldn't suggest that he's making mistakes, but Ian's pace at 1:10.3 just looks even better than what Looty's is. So it's not necessarily Looty's had a few problems, but maybe Ian is really starting to gain on him under the pressure. They're nowhere near this pack though, and Little Leech still hasn't got the job done on Melted Dazzler here. He's really putting him under some pressure, but cannot get that final manoeuvre done. Just needs one good exit from the corner and to get the run. Surely in the back of his mind now
he's starting to get frustrated now.
Yeah,
he's starting to get fed up with that red Clio in front of him.
Surely he's thinking of send it somewhere. It's the only way he's possibly going to get past him.
Yeah, he needs to start thinking about doing a former partner league driver Sutty and just throw it down the inside and do a Sutty send it.
Oh, Dazzler looked a bit wide there, and he's got a slow run out the corner, and here comes Little Leech. He's going to be on the outside of turn 3. He's got to keep it there for turn 4 if he wants any chance at the turn 5. In fact, he's got the job done.
I think he had a slow down. He really had to slow right out of that.
Yeah, he did. And that's really cost him. Little Leech has gone a bit deep into turn 5, but the job is done. And Melted Dazzler probably not wanting to get too many time penalties against him to fight Little Leech all the way to the end of this race. They've got Charlie Goff just in front. Little Leech there flashing him to try and get through, and Dazzler having a look of a Sutty send it. Did Little Leech run a bit deep there? He did, just slightly, but nothing Melted Dazzler could do about it. That bar marker really needs to move out of the way. John Boy still has Shoulders with him, P4 and 5 at the minute. Andy still hasn't pitted, and we're on the penultimate lap of the race, so Andy has surely got to pit here then. Otherwise he'll be disqualified, you'd imagine.
I think he's coming in.
Yeah, he's got to, surely. Yeah, he's in now, look.
And in he comes. So, here we go. Where is it going to put him now? He was 23 seconds ahead of the guys as he comes into the pit. Where is G? He's now entering into the stadium. And I'm just noticing here, Melton Morgan's got past Little Leach again.
Oh yeah, side by side. They've passed the back marker Charlie Goff. They're side by side coming through turn 3. And Little Leach will have that job done, surely. Is Melted Dazza going to keep it there? Charlie Goff should be backing out of this one. Instead, he's trying to keep it involved. Oh, and Daz is on the grass. Oh, and he's off. Oh, that battle has ended. And Charlie Goff was flashing the leaders. And I think that's maybe just put Melted Dazza off a bit there. But that's ended that battle a bit prematurely. Andy's out the pits and G has only just done him. So Andy has done a cracking job. He stayed in front of Motoring Morgan then. But I tell you what, Charlie, yeah, Shoulders in the pit. So I didn't think Shoulders had pitted. Yeah. So he may lose out to Little Each here. But Charlie Goff there, Dan, was racing the two guys that had put a lap on him and possibly put Melted Dazza off with a flash of the lights. That was a bit uncalled for from the back marker.
Yeah, Charlie should really have backed off and not flashed his lights. He really would have put Melted Dazza and Little Leach off. I noticed Little Leach went wide as well, so not good sportsmanship there. He should really have backed out. But the man of the race is G. He had a silly mistake early on, but he's managed to bring it back and take the race win at this minute. But what a drive this guy's performed, and with Andy behind him, it takes more points away from Morgan, so not a good day in the office for Morgan.
I think Morgan will get second place with the time penalties though at the end. Has G done enough to stay ahead of Motoring Morgan? A flash of the lights from the only G, and he's going to take the race victory here. Andy's going to come home for P2 on track, but has Morgan done enough to get Andy? He has, but it's not enough to get the only G. John Boy looks like he's going to come home and take a great P4 here then. Good finish for him. A bit of a quiet race, to be fair, but a good result in the end. Little Each, after a cracking battle with Melted Dazza all night, is going to take P5 after he passed Shoulders on the penultimate lap with Shoulders pitting. We'll see on the time penalty, though. Does he have more time penalties than Melted Dazza? Little Each will take 5th place. Melted Dazza's going to come home for P6. Shoulders, a flash of the lights. He's jumped. That wasn't Shoulders with a flashlight, must be Charlie Goff. Shoulders has jumped Looty McShooty and Emo Guy after his pit stop, but will possibly lose out on the time penalties. That's DJ Phil being lapped as well. So yep, Shoulders loses out to Looty McShooty, but not on Emo Guy. DJ Phil as well finishes the race. So Emo Guy P9, Smoky Devil P10, Charlie Goff 11th, and DJ Phil 12th. But what a race we've seen here. Wow. Fastest lap for the only G. Morgan needed 1.3 seconds. Or needed to be 1.3 seconds closer to G if he had any chance of being on the back of him, but Morgan takes a good P2. Andy completes the podium, but what a battle between Little Each, Melted Dazza and Looty McShooty that came to a premature end, we think. Great night. Dan, any final words from you?
Yeah, just wanted to say that was an amazing race from everyone, especially Little Each and Melted Dazza. If it was me, those two would be my drivers of the day, of putting on such a great show and keeping it clean as well. It's a shame that Melted Dazza dropped it at the end, but what a show that these clears are giving us. And again, it's just great to see this community showing how much fun and enjoyment we can get out of racing. And if you're really keen to come and join us, come over to motiveracing.com and we will try and bring you in any of the championship, get involved in commentating, stewarding, driving. It's great fun. It's my first season and I am loving it. I'm getting so hooked into this, and yeah, come and join us. It's good fun.
Absolutely brilliant. Dan, been a pleasure to commentate with you, and I hope we have many more commentating sessions over the course of the season here at Motive Racing. But from all of us here, we'll be back live Saturday evening for the GT3s and the LMP2s, in which I'm sure Dan will be taking part in. If not, he'll be on the commentary with Andy.
I will be.
I'm back Sunday evening for the touring cars. So from all of us here at Motive Racing, take care and good night.
Good night.